Hello everybody and a very warm welcome to the Jerez circuit for the second race of the 2015 Euro Formula Open. We're here in the south of Spain for the first of 8 stops. It's going to see the drivers of the Euro Formula Open making their progression around some of Europe's finest circuits. But for today, it is an 18-lap challenge around the 4.4 kilometre long former home of the Spanish Grand Prix that awaits the drivers, and from there they have got a trip to Paul Ricard, then Estoril, Silverstone, the Red Bull Ring, Spa, Monza before the season finishes back in Spain 1st of November. So quite a journey ahead for the drivers. And after yesterday's very dramatic race, they'll be pleased to see that it is nice and sunny today. So it's a very warm welcome from myself, Ben Evans, to a sun-drenched Jerez circuit. It's a little bit breezy, absolutely perfect spring day and wonderful conditions to go motor racing. If you joined us yesterday, well, it couldn't be more different, because yesterday we had a wet, dry race that was claimed by Alessio Rivera, who made the gamble of starting on slick tyres. He survived some pretty lurid early exchanges and came through to score a victory on his debut in the Euro Formula Open. Well, as ever in the Euro Formula Open, qualifying is held on the morning of each race, and so the drivers are at crack of dawn this morning to set the grid for the second race of the season, and pole was claimed by Konstantin Tereshchenko, the Russian driver who finished 6th yesterday in his Campos racing car, having had a fairly torrid time of it, but he's been quick all weekend, and the Campos team have had an extensive programme of testing through the winter. So the Russian driver finished 6th in last year's championship, 6th in yesterday's race, is hoping to go 5 better today. He shares the front row with Japanese driver Yu Kanemaru, and it's Kanemaru who has been the pace setter all the way through the weekend in practice. He finished 4th yesterday after recovering from contact at the first corner, which saw him rotating towards the back of the field. He recovered masterfully well, and he is one of the drivers returning to the Euro Formula Open this year who really comes into the season as a title favourite. Third on the grid goes to yesterday's pole sitter, the Israeli driver Yarin Stern, and Yarin had a wretched day of it. He was slow away from the line. That saw him drop into the midfield. He had gambled on starting wets. That didn't work. He pitted in. He was coming back through the field when he had a high-speed collision with Kanemaru coming down the back straight. Damaged the front left suspension, then pitching Stern out of the race. But he's got the pace, as he has demonstrated throughout the course of the weekend. He just needs a good result to get his championship challenge well and truly underway. 4th on the grid then for another returnee to the championship. That's the Russian driver, the 23-year-old John Simonian. He had one podium last year in very challenging conditions in Spa, but finished 14th yesterday, having had a fairly wayward trip. Very quick driver Simonian, but has had his moments where he just oversteps the boundaries of the car. But if he hooks it all up, he is a very solid podium contender. Simonian, who leads the RP Motorsport charge, and it is teammate Damiano Favoranti who is next up on the grid in 5th position. The Italian driver Favoranti, who finished 7th yesterday and returns for a full season, we hope, in the Euro Formula Open, having had a part campaign last year that saw him 15th in the overall standings. We've got one gap on the grid. You can see, I think that is Igor Walilko in the RP Motorsport car, and this is how they line up in full then, with Tereshchenko and Kanemaru on the front row, then Yarin Stern and John Simonian. So 4 returning drivers looking at the first 4 places. Then we've got Damiano Favoranti and Andres Saravia. Saravia disappointed to retire yesterday. Diego Menchaca, a very quick rookie, was 2nd in the rookie class yesterday. The ex-BRDC Formula 4 driver, clear of Igor Walilko, but I'm not sure he's there. Yesterday's winner, Alessio Rivera, starts 9th, and Tanart Sathian Thirikal finished 3rd yesterday in 10th. Vitor Baptista was runner-up in yesterday's race, with a lot to do from 11th on the grid. Nino Porcini in 12th is quick. Ahmad Al-Ghanem, superbly all weekend, was 3rd rookie yesterday. Great driver, improving every time he gets in the car. Jose Manuel Vilauta was early retirement yesterday after contact. Enrique Baptista again out of the race early on, and then having problems in qualifying, but the Brazilian driver is a lot quicker than that 20th place on the grid would suggest. So if you've never seen the Euro Formula Open before, to explain, this is a race for Formula 3 cars. All the drivers are equipped with the Dallara F312 chassis. They have got a controlled Toyota engine that propels them along And a number of the other parts in the car are also supplied by the GT Sport organisation, which helps keep costs very competitive. It means that every year we have a bumper grid. The two main technical changes for this year is first of all the introduction of a paddle shift gear system and also a change of tyre supply. So the driver's now running on Michelin tyres, which they are enjoying enormously, but finding maybe a little bit more of a challenge because they really are designed for peak performance. So that means they're taking about a lap to warm up. They've got peak performance for 2 or 3 laps, and then they begin to go again. It's making qualifying a real shootout, and it also is today going to be a little bit of a voyage into the unknown for the teams and drivers in terms of doing a full race distance in dry, warm conditions. Yesterday it was overcast, damp. We had a lengthy safety car for the recovery of Villalta's car. So today hopefully we'll have none of that over the 18-lap race distance, although if we do see the interruption of the safety car, then we can revert to 35 minutes on the timed race. So drivers just taking the opportunity to get a little bit of heat into their Michelin tyres as they work their way around the Jerez circuit, home to the Spanish Grand Prix from 1986 to 1990. Last hosted a Formula 1 race, of course, that notorious 1997 European Grand Prix. It is still a very relevant Formula 1 venue as it routinely kicks off each season's test schedule. Therefore, it's a circuit that is important for these drivers to learn and master. It's also a track they really enjoy because it's a physical challenge. Corners come thick and fast, one after the other. It's only really the back straight from turns 5 to 6, which is any length, 650 metres. So there's the white car of Konstantin Tereshchenko in pole position. Alongside him on the front row of the grid is the black car of Yu Kanemaru. Then it's the sky blue machine of Yarin Stern and the black, grey and orange RP Motorsport car of John Simonian. There is a gap there on the 4th row, 8th place, where Igor Welilko should have been. So disappointing for the Polish driver, who also came into problems yesterday. So we're ready then for the second round of the 2015 Euro Formula Open in Jerez. The green flag is shown at the back of the grid. It's eyes to the gantry, the red lights are on. They're out, we're racing. It's a good start from Kanemaru as he spins up the wheels, but Konstantin Tereshchenko converts pole position absolutely perfectly. Yarin Stern in 3rd is being swarmed by the RP Motorsport cars as they all arrive into turn 1. They made it through cleanly, yes they have, and then sprint towards the second corner before they work out to the further extremities of the circuit. Also a good start from Rivera, I think it is, in the first of the DAV cars. So Rivera going strongly, yesterday's race winner, already up into 5th position, and he's going to challenge, try and make that 4th through turn 5 and on to the back straight for the first time of asking. So we're looking at the midfield, and it really is that group of RP Motorsport runners all jostling for position as Tereshchenko, Kanemaru and Stern are broken clear up front. Then it's Simonian and Rivera. To try and make a little bit of ground there is Vitor Baptista, the 17-year-old Brazilian driver, runner-up yesterday. One of several hotly fancied RP Motorsport drivers as they then hit their way through turns 7 and 8. They have, we've got one car flying out wide. One of the Emilio Toyota cars, didn't quite pick out which one it was. It was the 17 car, Jose Manuel Villalta, so the Mexican driver has just been passed there by Diego Menchaca. So Menchaca also in the walls a little bit. Could have been Menchaca who started from the pit lane, not Wililko, as Tereshchenko comes round the hairpin through to completion of the first lap of the race. It's the blue car, Sethin Thirikol in the midfield. Break, trying to make progress. Enrique Baptista. Tereshchenko's Vanjo Kanemaru out to 1.4 seconds. Kanemaru then being chased down by the blue and white car in 3rd place. Yarin Stern. 4th is John Simonian. 5th, leading rookie Alessio Rivera. Then it's Andres Saravia, Camilo Favoranti, Igor Welilko. So it was Menchaca who started from the pit lane. Baptista in 9th, and then Rodo Puccini in 10th position. Through turn 5, and leading Cortex looking to break clear Alessio Rivera. Then we've got that group of RP Motorsport cars as Villalta hits in. Looks like it might be time for a new nose cone for the Mexican. Disappointment for him. It's been a real weekend of learning. But the Emilio Flotta mechanics get to work, and Villalta will be back out for the remainder of the race, but it will be more of an extended test run, unless, of course, we get a safety car. So Tereshchenko breaking clear. Battle for second position, just beginning to close up a little bit. Yaron Stern trying to reel in New Kanemaru. Tereshchenko's second year in the category, having spent a couple of years in Formula Renault 2-litre cars. Really clicked with the Campos Racing team over the winter. Kanemaru in the Toronto car. The thinking from some of the team managers was that Kanemaru has single lap pace, but may struggle to be consistently quick through the race duration. Yaron Stern had a brace of third places when the Euro Formula Open. This is breath last year, closing up onto his tail. John Simonian doing a good job in fourth, staying with him. Then there's that gap back to the Alessio Rivera, Andres Saravia, Damiano Favoranti and Igor Wililko battle. Simonian just out to the periphery of the curve, staying in the slipstream behind Yaron Stern. We'll be hoping the drivers in front to make an error, and you can see it's an invisible piece of elastic really between second, third and fourth, because Stern has just had a wobble somewhere. You can see that the gap to Kanemaru has gone out by a couple of car lengths as they arrive into turn 5. Simonian fractionally close. Then we've got Rivera heading up the next train of cars, all the RP Motorsport teammates. Vitor Baptista in 9th, the last of them. He has got Tanart Safian Thirikol in the blue Team Westtech car chasing him down. The brakes into turn 6 mean stronger overtaking opportunities. Which looks the red car of Leonardo Pellicini. He has got the Colombian driver for BVM, William Barbosa, in the white car just behind him. Barbosa scored an excellent result yesterday, finishing in 5th position, his career best at the Euro Formula Open. And as Rivera begins to bunch them all up behind him, it means that this is about to become probably a 7 or 8 car train in the early stages. They turn through the centre chicane, introduced for four-wheel racing here at Jerez in the wake of Martin Donnelly's crash qualifying for the 1990 Spanish Grand Prix. And the brakes into the hairpin, turn 15. Nobody quite close enough to challenge by Vitor Baptista at the back of the queue, looking increasingly frustrated because he can see this leading group of cars beginning to break clear. The deficit from Simonian to Rivera is out to the best part of 4 seconds. And given that these cars are, to all intents and purposes, identical, barring the tweaks and developments they can make in setting up the car, therefore that sort of deficit is going to be very hard to close down. But of course what we don't know is how the Michelin tyre is going to perform over the full race duration, because there was a view talking to a couple of the team principals that the drivers that push a little bit too hard as the Michelin tyre comes to them in the early laps may get caught out as the race unfolds, and those that maybe are a little bit steadier in the early stages possibly might find that they have got a lot more of the tyre left if they need to make a late push. So the RP Motorsport cars flying in formation. It's Saravia from Favoranti, Wililko and Baptista. That is 6th, 7th, 8th and 9th. Right behind Alessio Rivera. There is Vitor Baptista, the Class B champion in South American Formula 3 last year, as Wililko and Damiano Favoranti go side by side. Wililko can't quite make the move stick, tries to force his way through at turn 10. Nothing doing, and it now means that Wililko is under threat from Vitor Baptista, who looks to the outside. Wililko covers the inside line for the centre chicane. Pick up the throttle coming out, sprint towards turn 14, take a big bite of curb on towards 15, and Baptista surely close enough to challenge. Wililko knows it, covers the inside line. Baptista looks to the outside, may try for a switchback, but he's not quite got momentum. Instead it's on towards turn 1. He can challenge both to the inside and the outside. In terms of radius, it's not unlike Redgate Corner at Donington Park in that respect. Actually, the outside line is probably a little bit preferable. Well, here's the race leader, Konstantin Tereshchenko. Last year he had just a solitary podium in the Euro Formula Open. That came at the Hungaro Ring. Circuit not dissimilar in its slightly sinuous nature to Jerez. And what about the interfamilial squabble at RP Motorsport? Well, Saravia still to the head of the queue, Guatemalan driver. then we have got it would appear as if Baptista's not found a way past Igor Wililko. The way you can tell them apart is that firstly Wililko has got the Polish flag on his mirrors, and secondly Baptista's got the yellow helmet, and it's the yellow helmeted Baptista who launches the inside into turn 6, finds a way past. Wililko looks to fight back. He's got to be careful here because Tanat Sathianthirikal is right on his tail as well in the Westtech car. Out to turn 8, the left-hander on towards first the double right, 9 and 10. Wililko looking to fight back as quickly as he can. Wililko, who competed in the ADAC 4-mile Master Championship last year, scored a couple of podiums along the way. Of course, we also saw him final round the Euro Formula Open in Barcelona. So about to complete the 5th lap of the race. And we are currently focusing on the fight for 5th position. The leading quartet of broken clear, headed by Konstantin Tereshchenko. Then it's Kanemaru, second place, Yaron Stern, third, Simonyan in 4th. It's the red car with the gold nose you see at the front of your picture. Then Alessio Rivera in 5th. He is being pursued by Andres Saravia. Oh, that's a problem there for Damiano Favoranti. You can see the front wing flapping in the breeze. He must have just snagged maybe the car of Saravia, and that is going to make the driving experience a whole heap of no fun at all for Favoranti. But if he can keep going, he will. It means he immediately slips into the clutches of Vitor Baptista, and Baptista doesn't go for the move into turn 5. I think he might have just been able to. And instead, Favoranti understeers out wide on the exit of the corner. Because, of course, with the front wing not doing what it does, there's no downforce. So he gets demoted by Baptista, who moves up into 7th position. Then runs a little bit wide, coming out of turn 6. Favoranti won't really be able to offer much in the way of a riposte, and instead slips immediately under pressure from Igor Wililko. And again Favoranti understeering out wide, coming out of turn 8, and Wililko goes through, gains the place without really too much drama. So we may well see Damiano into the pits at the end of this lap. Indeed we will, because he runs across the gravel trap in the back of the picture. Vitor Baptista doing exactly what he did yesterday, which is just steadily picking his way up through the order. And indeed, Favoranti ducks into the pit lane. That promotes everybody, including the number 4 car. Another of the RP Motorsport entries, that is the second of their Polish drivers, Anthony Patak, who has moved up from karting this year, the 17-year-old. So ready, Vitor Baptista onto the tail of Andres Saravia. Saravia in his 3rd campaign in the Euro Formula Open, is 2nd with the RP Motorsport team. Guatemalan driver who regularly competes in triathlons during the off-season. So the pit lane work is underway to change the nose cone for Favoranti. He will emerge at the rear of the field. Meanwhile, picking his way through the traffic is Konstantin Tereshchenko. They're just putting a lap on Jose Manuel Villalta, who of course had the problem with his nose cone earlier on. So Tereshchenko not really dropping Kanemaru, but at the same time not quite in a position to challenge Tereshchenko just at the moment. And Yaron Stern in 3rd. Be desperate to finish at something other than 3rd. Last season he had 6 podiums, other than 3rd places. His career best Euro Formula Open result was actually 2nd place in a Devolota car back in 2013 on a wet day in Paul Ricard, as Villalta just snaps the car a little bit too directly into the chicane. That's what the Euro Formula Open is all about, learning these powerful slicks and wings single-seaters, and then as you make a step up to other classes in the way that Alex Palou, Artur Janos and Stasi Stubik have all done, participating in GP3 testing over this past week with great success to Palou because he was fastest of everybody. Then you're very, very well equipped to progress your career. So John Simonyan also puts a lap on the Mexican driver Villalta as we're on the 8th lap of this 18-lap race. Konstantin Tereshchenko, having converted pole position, hasn't really been threatened. Kanemaru got away from the lino cable. He's just spun up the rear wheels a little bit too much. That means he's never been quite in contact with the Russian. At the same time, Yaron Stern's not been able to close the gap down to Kanemaru to really force the issue. That leading trio, currently separated by 2.6 seconds. Simonian in fourth, then a further 3.3 seconds back from them. Still negotiates the hairpin in turn 6. And this is the performance that really Tereshchenko was threatening at times last year. Particularly at Spa, he had an excellent qualifying performance and then was rather drop kicked out of contention by Christopher Hoa. We saw with Alex Palou that once the Campos car can get out front, it generally runs very well and consistently over the race, and that's what we're seeing at the moment from Konstantin Tereshchenko. He leads the way. Converted pole position, he's also currently got fastest lap to his credit as well. And that is how he's built out that 1.6 second advantage over Yukan Amaru. Amaru then now a second clear of Stern, so across the line they come then. Complete the 8th lap of the race. As the gap come down a little bit. Well, it's gone out fractionally by 100th of a second, so it doesn't really count. Then Simonian, splinter isolation in 5th. We've got Sanat, Sathian Thirikol in the background going out across the grass as Alessio Rivera has just broken away from the Andres Saravia Igor Wililko battle going on for 6th position. They've got traffic in the form of Manuel Vilalta to deal with. Now that could be the opening that Vitor Baptista is looking for. In fact, Baptista has fallen behind Igor Wililko. That's Wililko who's leading the charge to Saravia, who's waving Jose Manuel Vilalta. But the drivers are always told, if you're going to go a lap down, you stick to the racing line. It's the job of those behind you to find a way past. So we can see the moment that put Baptista off the road suggests that Saravia might be better advised to find a way past Vilalta rather than waving at him. And he gets distracted as Vilalta makes a mistake, and through slips Igor Wililko. And so Andres Saravia is demoted. He was just a little bit mesmerised by the braking point of the Mexican in front of him. Momentary lapse of concentration, and that was all that Igor Wililko needed to slip past. I can understand Saravia's frustration. He just left the gap, and it now really turns that battle on its head again. Thirikol recovering through it, also making very good progress. There is the white and fluorescent yellow car. That's William Barbosa, BVM entry. So we are at the halfway point of the second race of the Euro Formula Open season. Leading the way, it's Konstantin Tereshchenko. Second place is Yukan Amaru. Third, Yaron Stern. Fourth, John Simonian. Fifth, in the battle we're focusing on, is Alessio Rivera. Just behind him is a trio of RP Motorsport cars in the form of Igor Wililko, Andres Saravia, Vitor Baptista. There is Igor Wililko in his second year of car racing. ADAC Formula Master last year, and Pan-European competition this season in the Euro Formula Open. Konstantin Tereshchenko continues to lead the way. The Campos team will be overjoyed with this because, having shown great pace in free practice on Friday, though they were a little bit disappointed with the way that qualifying turned out yesterday, and then in the wet-dry race that we had, all the cards seemed to be dealt against the Campos team, with the exception of Ahmed Al-Ghanem, who worked up through the field magnificently. It's quite a long gap in the traffic. A long wait rather before we see Tereshchenko come into view. In terms of the rookie race, just to update you on that, because we've got the rookie trophy for this year, it's being led by Alessio Rivera. Second is Igor Wililko, and Anthony Ptak is currently third of the rookies. So great stuff from the two Polish drivers. Alessio Rivera, yesterday's outright race winner, showing strongly again. So leading trio of cars accelerate over the start and finish line, reeling off the 10th of 18 laps. And the gap remains static, really, at 1.6 seconds from first to second. Yaron Stern in third, though, just beginning to slip adrift now of Yukan Amaru. For the first time in the race, that gap goes out to over a second. So there is Yukan Amaru, fourth in last year's championship. He had 4 podiums along the way. His best result was a second place in Portimao, and he's on course to match that. Prior to that, you spent a couple of years competing in Formula Renault 2-litre cars, so he does know his way around these circuits pretty well for Yaron Stern. As we said earlier on, his third season in the Euro Formula Open, his second with Team Westtech. Certainly Stern's third place under no particular threat at the moment. The gap now to John Simonian goes out to almost 6 seconds, but this is the sort of performance that Simonian needed, because last year he would be in promising positions and maybe just push the car a little bit too hard, spin away his chances. He's always had the pace. If he can align that to consistency, then he is a driver who could really challenge for wins as the season unfolds. The RP Motorsport team, of course, last year's team champions, also provided the drivers' champion in the form of Sandy Stuvik, championship runner-up in the shape of Artur Janos. Right, the fight for fifth is coming together now very nicely, because Alessio Rivera has got Igor Wililko all over his tail. Rivera, the 2013 Italian Formula Bath champion, who finished 6th in last year's Formula Renault 2 Litre Alps Championship. Coming under all the manner of pressure now. Something to note on that red DAV car is the elevated front right wing mirror, which just gives Rivera a slightly better view. Wililko, not that he doesn't need to know that he's there, because Wililko now comes out of the bubble, challenges to the outside, very short braking zone for turn 1. Alessio Rivera takes the tight line. Does he leave a gap into turn 2? No, he doesn't. So it means Wililko looks to the outside. Again, Rivera hugs the inside of the road. He is going to make Igor Wililko do this the hard way. And we've got the Andres Saravia and Vitor Baptista battle. That's the next pair of cars, but look at the pace of Wililko. He's all over the tail of Rivera, forcing Rivera defensive into turn 5, and that will surely trigger a challenge as they come down the hill along the back straight towards turn 6. Rivera consults his mirror. In fact, he's got maybe just enough on Wililko. It's going to be a bit of a lunge here for Wililko if he tries it. Well, Wililko considers it. The next group of cars, that's all very close as well. It's Andres Saravia, the first of the silver and black cars, then the yellow helmeted Baptista, ahead of the white machine of William Barbosa, and Alessio Rivera under all manner of pressure from Igor Wililko. Rivera, though, is doing what he needs to do, which is just driving defensively. Now, what he might try and achieve here is if he and Wililko can slow themselves down sufficiently, it will bring Andres Saravia and Vitor Baptista back into the battle. That will take some of the pressure off Alessio Rivera. At the same time, Wililko will know that's exactly what Rivera is trying to do, and therefore he will just wait for the right moments to really challenge the Italian driver. Also being helped in that somewhat by the fact that Andres Saravia, Vitor Baptista beginning to engage in battle, because they've got William Barbosa, Tanat Sathian Thirikol and Anthony Patak all over their tail. And Baptista looking to challenge into turn 1. See how that works out. I think Baptista's found a way through as they sprint towards turn 2. So there is Rivera understeering like crazy, and there is Vitor Baptista. He has moved up ahead of Andres Saravia. Great stuff from Baptista. He snatches 7th position as a result of that. We'll try to close the gap down to the dueling cars in front. Brilliant racing, this wheel-to-wheel action around Jerez. As we head into the final third of this concluding race from the opening round of the season. They get on the brakes down through the paddle shift gearbox into turn 6. Good battle just behind as well between the Campos teammates. That's Ahmed Aganem under pressure from Diego Menchaca. So Igor Wililko in pursuit of Alessio Rivera as they come out of turn 8 into turn 9. We return to the front of the field, and Konstantin Terashenko has truly shaken off Yukan Amaru, who is just beginning to fall back into the clutches of Yaron Stern in the fight for second position. No love lost between the pair of them after yesterday's collision along the back straight that saw Yaron Stern retiring from the race. Stern not quite in contention to really force it. John Simonian, an ever more lonely 4th position, but look at the fight for 5th at the back of the picture. My goodness me, this is good stuff. As Alessio Rivera, you've got the rear wing of Wililko, nothing more behind him as Wililko now pops out to the bubble, looks to the outside, they get on the brakes, and work through the right-hander, but this time there's a gap to the inside that Rivera can't close in time, and surely Wililko's going to go through into 5th position. He does, but Rivera tries to fight it around the outside. He can't quite do it, and immediately that allows Vitor Baptista to challenge, and Baptista goes through into 6th place in the blink of an eye. Alessio Rivera loses 2 places to the RP Motorsport cars, and that was a beautifully judged move from Igor Wililko, and then magnificent coaching from Vitor Baptista. And that also promotes Igor Wililko to the lead of the Rookie Trophy race. And now Baptista is taking his turn to pressurise Wililko. He's well and truly got the boot on the other foot, because it's easy enough for him to follow Alessio Rivera. Now he has got to defend from teammate Baptista. Vitor Baptista's got the pace. Wililko parks the car squarely in the middle of the road. He's going to make them do this the hard way. Where can Vitor find a way through? Possibly coming out of this turn 10, the very short sprint towards the chicane, turns 11, 12 and 13. Baptista not quite close enough this time around. They both run over the very low line curve at turn 14, and then around left-hand hairpin at 15. Well, there is Anthony Patak closing up onto the tail of Tanat Sathianthirikal. So the order now is Terashenko, Kanemaru, Stern, and Simonian from Wililko, Baptista, Rivera, Saravia, Barbosa and Sathianthirikal. That's the top 10. How long will it remain that way? We're on lap 15 of 18. Vitor Baptista find his way up into 5th position. Will Igor Wililko do enough to maintain the place in the 2nd and 3rd of the RP Motorsport cars on the road? Because of course John Simonian is leading the team's challenge in 4th position. Oh, and a spin in the background, and off into the gravel track goes Anthony Patak. He may beach himself there. Indeed he does. Oh, that's a disaster for the Polish driver. And that is potentially bad news for us. We might just see a safety car triggered, because that car is right at the crest of a blind brow coming through the fastest corner of the circuit. There's no way the marshals can really recover that car safely. And Anthony would be well advised to make haste behind the safety of the tyre wall. Here we see it again. Oh, just a little bit over-enthusiastic with the right foot. And that's one of the real keys to these Lara F312 cars, is that Formula 3 cars, relatively speaking, have a lot more grip than power, and they have all the grip in the world until suddenly they get on the wrong side of that razor's edge and they have none whatsoever. And really, unlike, say, for example, a Formula Ford or a Caterham, if you've ever driven one of those, where you know you're losing control for quite a long time before it actually happens, in one of these Formula 3 cars, you know, by the time you know you're having an accident, you're well into it. And that really gave Anthony Patak absolutely no chance to recover. So there is the stricken RP Motorsport car at the top of turn 5. It's being covered by a yellow flag for the time being, so that's good news, because it means we can keep racing. Battle amongst leading trios never really engaged, has it? They've quite been playing follow my leader, but they've, every time somebody's gained a couple of hundredths of a second on one lap, it's been unwound on the next. Aaron Stern and Kanemaru got another car in trouble there, parked in the gravel trap. Can't quite pick out who that was. Find out in due course who's gone missing. It could well be Ahmad Al Ghanem, actually, in the Campos cars. That would be a real pity for the Kuwaiti driver, who was so impressive yesterday in tricky conditions. And indeed it is. There is Ahmad Al Ghanem in the Campos car, and unfortunately his day is done. The runner-up in the Formula Golf 1000 Championship. He had 5 wins along the way in that. Never been to Jerez until this weekend. Been getting faster with each and every session. He's going to be a driver to watch as the season unfolds. So the leading trio are long gone into the penultimate lap of the race. Here is John Simonian, 4th place, but with a flapping front wing, which is going to make the last couple of laps wholly unenjoyable for him. Let's see what happened there for Simonyan for it to come loose. But you can see it's just detached itself, the point at which the mountings meet the lower front wing plane. We're giving Simonyan his sum. He's only 4 seconds, in fact, clear of Igor Wililko, so that isn't settled just yet. There is Simonyan, and there is Wililko closing fast. He's bringing Vitor Baptista with him for company. Through turn 5, they have to be very careful because we have got the stricken car of Anthony Patak there in the gravel trap on the exit of the corner. So down into turn 6, Simonyan, front wing flapping in the breeze. It's not really unduly affecting him, is it? Let's see. Simonyan, well, it is actually a 40.0 through sector 1 for Simonyan, playing a 31.9 for Wililko, and that rate of capture, Igor Wililko might just snatch 4th place between now and the checkered flag. Well, of course, the old motorsport adage, it's quite one thing to catch the car in front, it's another to find your way past it. There's just a lap and a half to go. He's potentially working against Wililko again. He was substantially quicker than Simonyan through sector 2. There is Vitor Baptista. He had the opportunity to really challenge Wililko a couple of laps ago. Has just slipped back from his teammate. Nevertheless, 6th place and 2nd place, Vitor Baptista, a pretty good haul from his first weekend in the Euro Formula Open. So a change of position further back. Tanat Safian-Thirikul has found a way past William Barbosa into 9th place, and they're both being chased down by Diego Menchaca, who started from the pit lane, has recovered to 11th and 3rd in the rookie competition. So out of turn 5 for the final time. Konstantin Tereshchenko is well on course here to do the gentleman's set. Pole position, fastest lap and the race victory. Yuka Amaru has been an ever-present shadow, but the Japanese driver has not been able to get onto terms with the Russian and really engage him in battle, or indeed force Tereshchenko to drive with his mirrors, start driving defensively. Tereshchenko has just been able to run his own race, maintain his rhythm, and he's now just a couple of corners from home. Kanemaru, 4th and 2nd from this weekend. A solid start to the championship. No more than that. I think he would have been hoping for wins, as would have Yarin Stern. But Stern heading for 3rd place. His first rostering of the season. Of course, the Euro Formula Open, it's the best 14 results for the drivers that count, so they can afford 1 or 2 retirements along the way. But accelerating out of the final turn, it's going to be a maiden victory in the Euro Formula Open for Konstantin Tereshchenko. He accelerates to the flag and takes victory in the 2nd round of the season. Yuka Amaru is the runner-up, and Yarin Stern completing the podium. Congratulations all around for the Campos Racing team. And they will be overjoyed with the way that has worked out today. Pole position for Tereshchenko, and thereafter never really challenged, because behind there's been a bit of a sort out amongst the RP cars. It's John Simonyan who will take 4th place, and 5th goes to Vitor Baptista, with Wililko running wide at the final turn. Into 7th place then Rivera, 8th Andres Saravia, 9th Tanat Safian-Thirikul, 10th William Barbosa, Diego Menchaca in 11th. Celebration time for Konstantin Tereshchenko. Learned so much last year, staying with the Campos squad for a 2nd Euro Formula Open campaign. Really working for him. Consistency, almost the key for all the top 3 drivers there, with exactly the same squad with which they competed in last year's championship. And they have hit the ground running at the start of 2015 in the rookie trophy. That was won by Igor Wililko from Alessio Rivera and Diego Menchaca. Menchaca and Rivera having their 2nd trip to the rookie podium of the weekend. Tereshchenko waves to acknowledge the marshals, and the crowd in the grandstand just overlooking the centre chicane just guns the throttle, thumbs up all around. Tereshchenko, it was an absolutely masterful performance, because the key is to be smooth, and that's exactly what Tereshchenko was. Let's have a look then at the final results. Konstantin Tereshchenko, our winner, 2.5 seconds clear of Yukan Amaru, with Yarin Stern in third. John Simonian holding on to fourth, ahead of Vitor Baptista. Igor Wililko, our rookie trophy winner. Then Alessio Rivera, Andres Saravia, Tanat Sathian Thirikul, and William Barbosa rounding out the top 10. Great weekend for the Colombian, 2 points finishes. Diego Menchaca, third rookie once more. Again, he'll be frustrated having started from the pit lane. Then Michael Durbecker, Otto Sanchez and Javier Gobian both going well to finish in 13th and 14th, clear of Damiano Favoranti. So in terms of the championship, as we leave Jerez, Tereshchenko leads the way, 4 points clear of Rivera, but it's very close with both Kanemaru and Baptista very much in the mix. They've only got 2 weeks to reflect on the event here in Jerez, because we'll reconvene in a fortnight's time along the Mediterranean coast, this time at the Paul Ricard circuit in Provence. So into Parc Ferme, handshakes and congratulations all around. And applause for Tereshchenko as he goes to receive the congratulations of the Campos Racing team. They're in something of a rich vein of form, because they've now won 2 of the last 3 Euro Formula Open races, if you count Alex Palou's triumph in the final race of last season in Barcelona. And all those top 3 drivers, they didn't quite engage in battle. You can absolutely rest assured that they were absolutely on the limit throughout the course of those 18 laps, because to extract the most from a Formula 3 car, you really have to be the very limit of adhesion, the very limit of the aerodynamic and mechanical grip available to you. And the 3 drivers achieving exactly that, so they will just go for their weight checks before heading up to the podium. It gives us an opportunity to look back at highlights of this second race of the season. So off the line, a great smooth start from Konstantin Tereshchenko as Kanemaru moved across to claim second place, and Yarin Stern had to defend from the hordes of RP Motorsport cars as everybody cleanly made it through the first turn. The driver who had a wayward moment on lap 1 was Jose Manuel Villalta, the Mexican driver through the gravel trap, and that forced him to put in for a new nose cone. Another driver in need of a replacement nose was Damiano Favoranti. As out front, Tereshchenko, Kanemaru and Yarin Stern put the gap on the rest of the field. The real battle was the one for 5th position. Andres Saravia losing 6th to Igor Wililko, after just being caught out a little bit by Villalta at the hairpin. He fought back strongly, as did Wililko and Vitor Baptista, both of them finding a way past Alessio Rivera. Anthony Patat was going very well until that happened, and put him into retirement at the top of turn 5. So with Patak a retiree, attention then turned late on to the fight for 4th. John Simonian, with a flapping front wing, was rapidly being reeled in by both Wililko and Baptista. But out front, it was a serene performance from Konstantin Tereshchenko. He converted pole position to the victory. He took fastest lap along the way with Yukan.
Aquí en el circuito de velocidad de Jerez en esta segunda carrera del Eurofórmula Open en el fin de semana. Don Juan Vaquero, director del circuito de velocidad de Jerez, hace entrega al piloto israelí Jerez.
3 very happy drivers on the top of the rostrum as we move into the presentation of the trophies. First of all, for third place Yarin Stone, Antonio Salander, the first deputy mayor of Jerez, doing the honours with the presentations today. Stern, Kanemaru and Konstantin Tereshchenko. Tereshchenko delighted, his second career podium in Euro Formula Open, his first win. Campos Racing, another victory. Time for the team to celebrate.
Eurofórmula Open, ya posan para el recuerdo en esta primera carrera. Vamos a escuchar el himno nacional de Rusia.
Probably going to be sometime next week where Konstantin Tereshchenko stops smiling, because there is nothing that quite beats having the national anthem played in your honour on the international motorsport podium. And now, after an excellent weekend of racing, time for the drivers to celebrate with the champagne. We have got a fantastic season in prospect for the Euro Formula Open, and really the form book is still wide open from these opening races of the season. Well, the podium festivity is not quite completed yet, because we'll move on to the rookie trophy podium. A couple of moments' time, which will be Diego Menchaca in third, Alessio Rivera the runner-up, and then Igor Wililko, our rookie trophy winner. This season, the class 2015 real strength in depth in the Euro Formula Open, because coming into the weekend, Tereshchenko was mentioned as a possible winner, so were Kanemaru and Stern, possibly as well Vitor Baptista. Of course, Alessio Rivera scored a victory. Diego Menchaca is very quick. He's had bad luck in both races, but could come on very strongly. So I think the pattern that we've seen this weekend is not likely to be repeated in a fortnight's time in Paul Ricard, and this is really the beauty of competition in the Euro Formula Open. Very evenly matched cars, very evenly matched high-performing drivers, and some great on-track action. Of course, do make sure that you visit the Euro Formula Open website, www.euroformulaopen.net. Over the next couple of weeks, you'll be able to keep up with all the news from the championship. Looking forward to Paul Ricard, also some good driver profiles and various other stories that you can find on the website. As we move on to the rookie trophy podium, so third place for Diego Menchaca. Runner-up Alessio Rivera, so he'll be leading the rookie standings, leaving Jerez, and then Igor Wililko, rookie trophy winner this weekend. And of course, for RP Motorsport, another trip to the podium as the winning team in the rookie trophy, with the presentation of the trophies. Again, delight for Igor Wililko. Beautiful trophies we always have at Jerez, and this year no exception.
Escuchamos el himno nacional de Polonia.
The Polish national anthem in honour of Igor Wililko, which means that it is time for the drivers to let rip for the last time this weekend with the champagne on the rostrum, which means in turn it's time for myself, Ben Evans, to say thank you very much for your company for this opening round of the Euro Formula Open season. We will very much look forward to you joining us in a fortnight's time in Paul Ricard.
Son los encargados de dar la fiesta en la zona del podium. Amigos, nos quedamos...